So the first one is monitoring. Next is identifying deviations. Last one, implementing corrective measures. So here controlling is nothing but we have to keep an eye on each and every employee, whether the employee is working or not, and whether within the time limit, if the whatever the project has been allotted. So if this project can be completed within the time limit, so this can be only known by monitoring. So here the first one is monitoring. That is tracking project milestones, budget expenditures and adherence to the timeline using project management tools. Suppose to complete the project only we have 3 months of time. So each and every minute is very important. So here we have to take the spontaneous feedbacks and even feedback from each and every employee. Up to what extent the work has been completed? Is there any obstacles that you are facing? So this has to be closely monitored by manager. And next one is identifying deviations. So here deviations is nothing but differences. So I expected that so within 2.5 months the project will be completed, but already the 2.5 months has been completed, but up to now only 60% of the project has been completed. So expected and actual. So why the difference, what is the difference in between these two? So we have to identify the deviations, that is differences. Next, implementing corrective measures. So what is a mistake that has been happened? So is there is like any optimum allocation is not done? Otherwise, the workers who are working is not capable for that particular project. Revising timeless means that we have to extend the time limit. So reallocating tasks to address issues and ensure timely delivery of the mobile application. So here corrective measures is nothing but whether the employees are incapable. So whatever the time limit has been given, is it not sufficient, or whether the resources that has been provided is not sufficient. So we have to take the perspective action on each and everything. So implementing corrective actions. So suppose in spite of 3 months, so as we can extend for more 15 days, whether it is sufficient. So we have to address the new employees. So here these are the different components will come under monitoring, that is called as controlling. So controlling is nothing but each and every activity of the employee has to be closely monitored depending on the time limit. So these are the different functions of management, that is planning, organizing, leading, controlling. So each and every organization will mainly concentrate on these 4 functions. So this is regarding the live example, or we can say that it is a real-time example where each and every organization will follow. So coming to here, by effectively performing all these functions like planning, organizing, leading and controlling, the first one, the project manager can navigate complexities. So here by following all these things, if any difficulties has been faced inside the internal environment or within the organization, then it can be easily recognized. Launching a new mobile application, so it has been done. Then maximize resource utilization, motivate the team and ultimately achieve the project's objectives. So first what has to be done? So each and every perspective of the employee we have to take into consideration, and what are the difficulties they are facing. So this has to be known to the manager. So after that, what they wanted to do. So they want to launch a new mobile application. So how optimally they are using their resources, and after that, so it comes to leading. So he has to motivate the employees like team members, and after that, so the complete objective is achieved. So here each and every function plays a very important role in management, or we can say that in every organization. Okay, coming to the limitations, we have discussed. So up to now, different advantages, characteristics and different types of theories, right? So even each and every concept has some advantage and disadvantage. Well, coming into here also principles of management. So even this management principles have a disadvantage or limitations. The first one is universal applicability. So while coming to this one universal, so already we have discussed in the characteristics of management, that is universally applicable, right? So while coming to here, so this is one of the disadvantage even. How? Suppose there is one situation. So whatever the system that we are following in this organization. So the same system cannot be followed in another organization, right? So because these two are completely different perspectives, and here like environment, culture, so here each and everything is completely different in this organization, and we cannot use the same system in another organization. So coming to here, management principles are often based on observations of successful practices in scientific context. So depending on the different observations, so whatever it is like successful here, we cannot say that the same principle can be successful like in another organizations. So here, what works well in one organization or industry may not necessarily work in another due to differences in culture, size, structure and external environment. So already we have discussed whatever the system or whatever the procedure that we are following here, the same cannot be expected that this system, this procedure will work in other organization, because there is some variation. Means here the culture is different, the size is different, the environment is different and the diversity is different. So we cannot combine these things into the different organization. So here it is not universally applicable. And coming to the second one, that is resistance to change. So resistance is nothing but, so we know that the external environment is frequently changing because the customer preferences, their habits always frequently changing due to the environment. Same like that here, the employees may resist for change because may they have a fear of like they are losing their autonomy or authority, may like they have a fear that maybe if you are not completing this work, maybe the management will fire us, right? So here the management may face resistance from employees. Why? Because due to fear of losing their jobs or changes in work process. If we are completely adopting a new technology, means it will take some time to be compatible with the technology, right? Maybe it will take 1 month, maybe 2 months or maybe 6 months depending on the technology. So at that particular time the worker like he will be have a like insecure feeling. So if not, if like I'm not giving an efficient output, so at that particular time maybe the management will fire us, right? So here is the main reason that the employees are always resisting for the changes. So therefore, the management has to handle resistance to change carefully to ensure that the changes are implemented smoothly. So here the management has to handle the employees and they have to give some security that we'll give you like 3 months or 4 months of time to be like compatible with the technology or environment. So here then at that perspective time, the employees even feel that okay, we are ready to change. So this is one of the limitation, that is resistance to change. And cultural differences. So this is also one of the major limitation of management, right? So here the management has to deal with cultural differences. So already we have discussed. So here one organization is completely different from the other organizations. So whatever the system, whatever the procedure that we are following in this organization, we cannot say that the same system, the same procedure cannot be worked in some other organization. So here because of like different cultures we are obtaining within the environment. So different cultures having different values, beliefs and behaviors which can create communication barriers and affect the organization's performance. If you are not taking this all into the consideration, then at last we cannot we cannot achieve the objectives of the organization. So each and every organization has to take into the considerations of like cultures, their beliefs, their behaviors and what are the communication barriers. So it is completely depending on the organization to organization. And therefore the management has to be sensitive to cultural differences to ensure that all employees are treated equally. Means here they should not provide any unfair justice and there should not be like any partiality among the employees. Means each and every employee has to be treated equally, not depending on like culture, not depending on their values and not depending on their barriers. So here it is cultural differences. And coming to the next one, that is uncertainty. So here uncertainty is nothing but already we have like studied the organization is changing because of two environments, that is internal environment and external environment, that is dynamic changes. So here the business environment is constantly changing and it is challenging to predict future accurately. We cannot say that the same product will click in the future even, because here the external environment is changing rapidly because of dynamic changes, because the customer preferences and their habits are frequently changing, right? So depending on that, we cannot predict the future. So depending on that, we are ready to accept the changes that have been happening in the external market, but it will take some time. The management has to make decisions based on the available information, which may not be accurate. So already we have like discussed. So if we are launching a new product, like if you want to do some modifications in the product, on what basis you are doing the modifications? Because we maybe like we got like we collected the feedback from the customers that the product quality is not good. So depending on this information, what we are doing, we are modifying the product or going for launching the new product. So without this information, we cannot go for the modification of product, or we cannot go for like launching a new product. So with the available information, which may not be or may be accurate, so therefore the decisions made by the management may not be effective in long run. Suppose the information what you collected is completely wrong at that particular time. So whatever the decisions that has been taken by the management, it will not run for the long run. So whatever the information is there, so once or maybe twice or maybe like thrice, we have to check whether the information is correct or not. So how to check this? By depending on statistical and mathematical techniques. So this is regarding uncertainty, means future is uncertain. So compulsory the decisions has to be taken by the management depending on the correct information by using statistical and mathematical tools. And here in conclusion, we can say that management has even advantages and even has limitations which can affect the organization performance. How? If the decision which has been taken by the management is not correct at that particular time, the organization performance will come down. If the decision is taken by the management is obviously correct at that particular time, the organization performance will go up. So however, by being aware of these limitations, the management can take steps to mitigate their impact and achieve the organization goals. So the management should not blindly should not depend on only like one perspective. So the management has to take different perspectives, and depending on the different perspectives and different categories, the management has to take the correct decision. So this is regarding the introduction of principles of management. So in this we have covered introduction, meaning, definition, functions of management, different theories, advantages and limitations. So this is regarding the introduction, so which has been in the unit 1 of principles of management.